Hi, my name is Alicia Salcido. Welcome to my week 3 multimedia discussion for MPA 530, budget types and format. In this PowerPoint, I'm going to be reviewing a budget format, the advantages and disadvantages of the budget format, and then a recommended budget format. For the city of Moreno Valley, they do use the line item budget format. Here is displayed is just some of the screenshots I was actually able to find online through the city of Moreno Valley. And this is considered a line item budget, as we can see here, because we do have our revenue and our expenses. Everything is itemized, so we can see exactly, like for instance, taxes. What type of taxes is there? There's property taxes, utility use taxes, sales taxes, and it gives you the breakdown of how much of that revenue they did receive for those years or proposed years. The same thing for the expenses. We have the personal expenses, the material and supplies expenses, the debt services, and then again, it has next to it the actual expenses that they did have to pay, and then the proposed expenses they anticipate for the future. Some of the advantages of the line item budget format, it's first that it's simple. It's simple because people are actually able to see their expenses and their revenues. It's not complicated where they're trying to figure out where is what and where is it located. It's very straightforward. You're able to see exactly where all your revenue is coming from, and there's a breakdown of the itemized name, and then the revenue is just next to it. The same thing for the expenses. In budgeting in public libraries, in the Muhammad article, he was just referencing how like it is very simple, especially in the public libraries. They need something very simple for people just every day to see what is going on with their expenses and then the revenues that are actually coming in. Another advantage of the line item budget format is that it's a traditional budget format. People tend to stick to this route because it's simple, it's cost efficient, and it's very effective because they're able to see what they're actually doing. And the accounting and budgeting on capital allocation for infrastructure projects, Woldbridge was just explaining that this is just something that a lot of companies use, and they've always tend to use this type of traditional budget format. It's for them, it's great just to get what they need to get done, but they did realize that there can be other types of budget formats to improve their business. For the disadvantages of the line item budget, one of the disadvantages was that it is outdated. It is outdated because this type of budget format is so traditional that everyone does use it. So this is kind of like the first thing that people use. They kind of don't have an idea what other budget formats that they are able to use to benefit them. In the accounting and budgeting article, the authors are just indicating that yes, it's their go-to budget format to use, but they do prefer other budget formats because they're actually able to get more information on the specifics for their revenue and expenses. So this kind of ties into why it's limited, which is another disadvantage for the line item budget. It's just limited in the fact where it's kind of, for example, if you want to talk about teacher salaries, it's just salaries, and that's either the expense for that organization or nonprofit. So it's not really giving into detail of what the expense is for, or how it coming into play for the organization itself. So it's just limited information for the organization to view at a glance. So if there was more information on it, then it would be an advantage for them, but it's limited. The recommended budget that I would expect for the city of Moreno Valley to use would be the item line budget. Even though there was some disadvantages to it, I personally just preferred it because it was very simple, straightforward. It was very easy for me to understand, especially because you know, it's a city. These funds have to be transparent for the citizens of Myrna Valley. So it was just very straightforward, something very easy for me to digest. Even like I live in the city of Myrna Valley, so I'm able to understand what is going on, how the expenses and how our revenue is coming about. So it does give me more in-depth information where I'm not like, I don't understand. Like I'm trying to figure out how did they come up with these numbers. It was very straightforward. Also because this type of format they're also using, it's the program budget. So it kind of just gives a more of an explanation for each type of program and just kind of briefly explaining of what's going on and how the funds are being used. That was under the presentation. Thank you very much for listening.